this is a wonderful church. Basically, when I take the communion just now, I realized this is my third communion. Because we took communion in Batu Pahat, we took communion in Seremban, and it's my third communion. But more importantly, just now in the spirit of worship, I just felt that I want to read this word for this church. Because I feel that there is like a sweet spirit among this church to want to linger and wait upon God. For those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. So being in this church, with this verse coming to my mind, then I just imagine, I say, God, thank you for this pleasure of this week. I've been to different churches and seen and felt the congregation heartbeat. You know what I mean? You go to different church, different faces, it's a heartbeat. And God loves every church differently. Yes. And as I began to have this picture in my mind, I don't know how to explain it, Kenneth. I start to cry, really. I'm so deeply moved. And then God whispered into my heart and said, this place, this church, is a place to encounter me. Amen. Don't look at the size of your church. Don't look at the people. God is making this church as an encountering place. Amen. Amen. When lives will be changed, people will be touched. That's important. We're not just a building and just perform the religious duty to come and gather. And I just believe there is such a sincerity and a love in your leaders. That is the heartbeat, and God knows your heartbeat. And I just felt the sweet presence of God. That really, I have not cried for a long time. Really, because we know the presence of God, and we are accustomed to the presence of God. You know what I'm saying? You're accustomed. It's like, it's as usual. And then this is how I hear God. And when God touches you, you are very different. And I felt the touch. I felt the touch and the love of God. And so continue the good work. Continue the simple faith, the purity of faith. And that is enough. Amen. That's enough, right? So today my message is fulfillment in life. This is a new message, and it's really very precious because God also speaks to me through this message. Basically, I just show with a hand of a lady. Isn't it true that we all want fulfillment in life? We don't want to say we pass through life, we have lived life. We want to feel as if we have lived, we have fulfilled something. And when we die, we say, I've been fulfilled. And sadly or truly, that's how. So you're all impressed for me, right? I just do like that. Okay, so Hong Kong is protesting 22 weeks already, right? And praise the Lord, we were there, I think 4 weeks ago, right, for a friend's wedding. So the whole city is like, we can see some graffiti on the wall, it's still, people just go through business as usual. In the daytime, you see they are very industrious, you just go through business as usual. But after that, when it's time to protest, that you will hear they will give which area to avoid, which MRT not to take. But it's not as if we didn't see the crowd, we didn't see the protest, because the protest was on the other side. So we were at this church and we asked the pastor, we said, Pastor, what do you see? What do you feel about Hong Kong? And he just said, it's actually very complex. Isn't it true? What the whole bunch of people is complex. Because the Hong Kong people, is it not true that people are moved by desires? What are they protesting for? They want a better life. They want something that only they can understand. So we are not in Hong Kong society, we do not know what actually they want, what they desire, what are they pursuing, why are they pursuing in this way? Is it right? Is it wrong? Right? Okay. So with this thought in mind, I felt that all of us in a way, we are actually wanting something. True or not? We are fighting for something. We are desiring something. Next. And just a little, this is just a thought, right, on how to go about national areas. Righteousness makes a nation great, but sin diminishes any people. And then another version says that doing right brings honor to a nation, but sin brings disgrace. No doubt they are trying and pursuing a better, something that they see is better, a freedom. But in my own perspective, I think certain things they do is not in the right way, in the right manner. And this verse is so clear. If what we do is not right and does not bring honor to a nation, it will bring disgrace. And similarly, children, families, children may want something, but the way to do it is never through rebellious ways. It's always through communication. True? Even for marriages, two different parties will have different desires, different hope, what they want out of that relationship. But they can never pursue it in the wrong way. They must pursue it in the spirit of love, in the spirit of sitting down and communication, working things out. Right? So this is just a thought from that. And with the picture of what is happening, this picture came to mind, the Tower of Babel, right? And the people said, come, let us build us a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we'll be scattered over the face of the whole earth. What is it that compelled them and propelled them to gather in unity? It's a desire, isn't it? It's a desire for what? The desire to build something for themselves. Something that they can feel proud of. Something that feel as if there's an achievement. We want a name for ourselves. But on the other hand, as Christians, does God ever ask us to pursue something for ourselves? No. God said, lay down our life, lay down our right, and pursue things for the glory of God. That's why it's not honoring to God. Because they wanted to build something for themselves, which is not led by God, directed by God. It was not for God. Another thing, what propelled them to build something like that? They said, otherwise you'll be scattered over the face of the earth. It's motivated by fear. True or not? They fear if they don't do this, they'll be scattered. Do you not see Hong Kong people by fear? It is a protest, aggravated also not only for desire, because they desire something for their society, it's also by fear. They say if we allow the extradition bill, China comes in, we will be a different nation than what we want. So it's something driven by fear. So my question is, as we build our lives, we always must remember, when we want fulfillment in life, what is governing what is driving us? What is leading us to do the things we do, plan the plans we work? Because we want fulfillment, they want fulfillment. So what is governing them, what is leading them is basically something for themselves. It's not led by God. So children of God should not pursue fulfillment in this way. We should not pursue it in this way. We should pursue fulfillment in life always according to the will of God for our lives. Always according to the leading of God. And we should not pursue fulfillment based on fear. There was one time I remember someone long ago, the lady just married suddenly, she just married somebody. And I asked her, it's like, why are you so rushed to get married? Oh, I'm already. Fear to remain single at 30, 31, fear. So the minute they met someone, some sort, they think, even not a Christian, yeah, okay, I'm fear to be single. They marry out of fear. So if you have these two things, self-desires and fears that are not handled properly, you'll find you're always pursuing the wrong things, doing the wrong things, and finding fulfillment in the wrong places. Okay? So that is where I'm coming from, my message today. Alright? Okay, thanks. So for children of God, on a national level, whatever we want to pursue, whatever we want to see for our nation, we must be reminded from this verse. If we are God's people, we need to humble ourselves, seek the God's face, turn from our wicked ways, and God said, I will hear from heaven, I'll forgive the sin, I will heal your land. Right? Yeah, if Hong Kong people to protest, we have freedom, democracy to protest, that's what we did in Malaysia, right? We did the Bersih rally. but it was without violence. Right? And praise be to God, we had a transition. But then now we say, oh, but what's happening now? It seems like we are not any much better. Come on, hold on to the promises of God. Keep praying, keep humbling, keep seeking, right? Okay? So we never lose hope so easily. We never lose hope so fast.
Yes.
Do you know that? Christians are not supposed to lose hope fast.
Yes.
Because we are on a marathon. You know, there's nothing we start, you know, we may have 3-year plan, 4-year plan, but how many year plan did God have for Abraham? For Moses? 40-year plan. God said 40 years in the wilderness only release them to the promised land.
Yes.
Yeah, so we are here. But wilderness is not good, man. No. You have to be very discerning to see that in the wilderness they actually saw the miracles of God, the hand of God. They tasted of His goodness. They tasted of His might. They saw God. So wilderness is not a bad place to be.
Yes.
Because we always go through seasons. If our life is in God's hand, even in the wilderness God is speaking. Did Joseph not go through wilderness? He went to prison. He was rejected. But isn't that part of the season of his life? That's why Paul said, even in the wilderness you have to rejoice.
Amen.
True or not?
Yes.
Everything, when we are in God's children, every season is from God.
Yes.
Every season we rejoice.
Yes.
Giàu đất xịt, mua đất xịt, got money, no money, rejoice.
Yeah.
Amen?
Amen.
Yeah, that's how God works. But we forgotten this principle. We think like the world. When we are in the wilderness, we sigh and we won't see the promised land. It's wrong way to live.
Yes.
It's a wrong way to live. Because it is through the seasons that God shaped and moved.
Yes.
It's through the seasons that God began to build muscle. It's through these time places. Like for example, Sister Eunice, your daughter, what's your name? Eunice. For that 11 months, did you have a job? Did you realize now you grew closer to God? God. Those 11 months, isn't it for Wayne? Oh, I don't think it's for Wayne, right?
Yes.
Something has been achieved in her heart, in her spirit, for the things of God.
Amen.
There's definitely nothing wasted. But we must see things from God's perspective. Next. So what is driving your life? Okay, what's driving your life? So today you go back, if you cannot remember anything that I've preached, maybe remember this preaching. Because when you go back, God is journeying with you. God is speaking through your life. Maybe at this time in your life, you're going through sickness and disease. So maybe every day you go back home, you're on a computer looking for a cure, looking for supplement, reading up, trying for something to help you. I don't know what's driving your life. But as you go and do all those things, I think I want you to learn that you can journey with God. Tell God what it is that you are looking for. And also to ask God, hear from God, what is it that you want me to do? How to do? What to do? Who to speak to? Really, sometimes the connection is important. Who to speak to? Who to see? And what is driving your life? Next. So this interesting verse says, sorry, Ani. Actually, cannot be so stiff lah. We are family of God. How many people here? Right? Let's read what's it. Okay. Now let's see this verse. He who loves money. Why I put money is because one thing that drives our lives is money. You want to make money, right? You want to pursue money. Money has its usage.
Yes.
Money is good. We need money for all this. It's not free, Money has its usage. But look at this verse. He who loves money means that if your desire is for money. Okay, many businessmen here now. You go and make big money, right? But is your desire for the money or for your wife? Which is more? Desire for money more or desire for wife more? The desire for the money is more or for the wife is more? This is a question for any people who's working. Or the men. Nobody get to answer me one. You see, this love is actually the desire for money. Yeah, we work for money, but there should not be a desire for money. There should not be the desire is like the money is the love, right? That brings fulfillment. But this verse means like that. If you look for money to bring fulfillment, you will not be satisfied with money. Isn't this interesting? You love money, yet when you give you money, it's not satisfied. Isn't it true for money? You want the money, but when you give money, still not enough. And then you give someone money, still not enough. Especially for gamblers. You gamble, you get some money, you're supposed to walk away, but you still not enough. You still gamble some more. So this verse says, if you love money, you will not be satisfied with money. Nor he who loves well with his income. This also is meaningless. If you want to read Ecclesiastes, which is written by King Solomon, throughout the whole book, he's talking about people pursuing things, desiring for a fulfillment in life, pursuing buildings, pursuing knowledge, pursuing marriage, women, pursuing pleasures. He said, at the end of the day, all this never really satisfies. So all this becomes meaningless. So I tell you, if you want to pursue all this at the end of the journey, when you're old, you sit down, you will still never honestly can say to your mom, I've lived a fulfilled life. Because the desire for all these worldly things is endless. It will not truly satisfy. Right? Thanks. So what are the desires of our heart? What should our desires be? Can the desire of our heart be satisfied? So could I give it to you and say, we are all of us living with unfulfilled desires? Go on. Okay, how many of you living here and you said there are unfulfilled desires in my life? No one. I can't understand that. Yay! Boom. Go on. All of us are having these unfulfilled desires. Right? True. Because as long as we are living on this earth, we are growing old daily, there will be desires. We are human. Sorry, there will be desires. Right? But we have to remember, most of these desires will never be fulfilled. I desire to marry a rich man. I didn't fulfill that desire. right? No, I just do. I didn't desire to marry a rich man. Okay. I just desire maybe a more handsome one. Right? There are desires, you know. Okay? Probably I desire to have 3 children. I didn't have 2 children. These are good desires. Not all desires are bad. You know? Maybe some of you have desired to have a better education. But you never got that better education because of financial situation. Or maybe you decided there's scholarship. And then you do not know why come your friend got the scholarship, you didn't get the scholarship. So we are going to accept that as long as we are on this earth, we are going to have unfulfilled desires, the personal desires inside. Right? So I hope you can't get me. We're trying to have a fulfilled life, yet there are going to be unfulfilled desires. So what to do about this? Okay? Journey with me. Thanks. Cool. So when desires rule your lives, let's say I cannot get a scholarship. If it rules your life, do you not think that you always have dissatisfaction, discontentment? We will have disappointment. We will be distracted because we want to pursue after that we cannot have. We will be depressed. And sometimes it leads to destruction. Why people commit suicide after a broken relationship? Because those are unfulfilled desires. They desire for the relationship to continue, but the relationship broke off. So they can't live with that unfulfilled desire. They decide to commit suicide, destruction. So many of these things happen when desires rule your lives. Understand or not? So we can have desires. As Christians, we are bound to have desires because we are human. But desires cannot rule our lives. Because the minute we let desires rule our life, all this will come in. That's why I asked just now the question, do you love the money or you love your wife? The money that you love, the desire, will always lead to this unsatisfaction. But when you put your love and desire towards a wife who can reciprocate back, a person, you invest into a person, Especially a wife won't run away, right? I'm not talking about a boyfriend or girl who may run away from you, okay? That is more meaningful. Pursue the more meaningful one. See, a lot of people, even families, they pursue the money at the sake of the family time together. The communication, they put aside the children. They put aside what is important to pursue what is not important. So among all your desires, you have to be a person that is discerning. To read the book of Ecclesiastes, what is it that is worth to pursue? Knowledge is worth to pursue, true or not? If you have only 24 hours a day, would you rather spend the time reading a book or looking at K-drama? Ha! Hit it on the dot. Ah, I like to watch K-drama. Oh, watch, desire, pursue. But your time is limited. You have actually shortchanged yourself. You should change and go and pursue your book. Because you also love to read, right? It's true, no? I love to read. I was trying to see K-drama. And I'm also speaking to myself. I have to really put aside that desire which is not helpful to pursue that which is beneficial. So we're always juggling. As human beings, we're always juggling this. But let us move forward, okay? Move forward from good desires, bad desires, move forward to godly desires.
Amen.
That should be the aim. Alright? So I'm going to that message right now. Continue. Next one. Is it this one? Which one? After this is this one. Okay. Now this is just a cartoon now, in case you're all sleeping. Okay, so look at these two. These two went for competition. Right? The cupcake and the muffin went for the competition of the tasting. And who got the ribbon? Who got the prize?
Cupcake.
The cupcake or the muffin? Muffin. The muffin got the ribbon, right? Right? Now look at the mean cupcake. The cupcake says, you realize that muffins are just ugly cupcakes, right? And that is the world. Even when you do something right, you always feel that it's not good enough. It's not enough. That is the mentality. Even if you work very hard to achieve, and you feel that you're provided for your children, and then suddenly you meet somebody who can provide for the children better, it's not good enough. Even when you feel that you have done your best to be a good mother, but then you meet another super mother, you feel that you're not good enough. I want to tell you from this cartoon, even as we're learning about desires, the first thing to really able to fulfill in life is to embrace yourself. Embrace who you are. The person you are, the type of song leader you are. I see different song leaders during this week. And not all of them are same, but all of them are precious, different, unique. Right? Okay? Good. Next. So this verse is very helpful for us to understand about living with unfulfilled desires. You're going to live in this world. You're going to live with unfulfilled desires. But is it okay? Yes. Perfectly okay. Because some desires are never going to be fulfilled anyway. So you still can rejoice. I told my children, I asked them, you desire to get married? Sure. Which child would like to get married? Young people who want to get married. True or not? But the fact is, this is something not good for the young people, but the fact is true. In the end days, you know that the girls will be more than boys? Girls will always be more than boys.
Yes.
And you have to accept that some girls are going to get married. Not to say you don't want to get married. And afterward, if I'm not doing a teaching on BTR, which I did in my church, there's one verse Jesus says, not all people will get asked. Not all people will get pursued. And some choose to remain single. But is singlehood worse than getting married? No. Single people can equally live a very fulfilled life as a married person.
Right.
But the wrong perspective is, ayo, you never get married yet ah? How are you now? 30 or 40 ah? Ayo. You're charm. No. So I told my young people, I said, don't need to pursue all these. You have to learn to live with the fact that sometimes some desires will not be fulfilled. So what is not fulfilled? Doesn't mean it's taking out from your life. Doesn't mean you are a failure. Some married couple cannot have children. They love their husband and wife very much. But why do we make them feel as if they are failures? I don't get married, they still no children. True or not? Even in the Christian society, we make it look as if something bad. No. Sometimes in God's plan for their life, God chooses to let them remain childless. True. I have a pastor friend with a wife, beautiful, couple beautiful, married very young. They don't have children. But two of them travel and minister the word of God. So God knows His plan for every individual here.
Amen.
But you will still have the desire, but you need to learn that you have to live with unfulfilled desires. If you learn how to live with unfulfilled desires, do you think you can say that I've been living a fulfilled life? Yes. You know what I'm saying now? If you know how to successfully live a life with unfulfilled desires, at the end of the day when you die, you can say, I live a fulfilled life. And yeah, sure, I never got married. Sure, I didn't have the child I wanted. I didn't have the education I needed. But I'm perfectly content. I'm perfectly happy. I've embraced God's plan. Sure, right? That's what we should aim for as Christians. Okay? And look at this word. And this tells us why we always have unfulfilled desires. Alright? And God is trying to shift us out of this. Let's read. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that the world is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. So no, we are in the world. But the verse can be read like this. Desire not the world, nor the things that the world gives. True? Right? The world want to give you a certain thing. The world say you need a certain type of apartment, you need a certain type of car, you need a certain type of amount of money in your bank. Okay? So this is saying, do not desire these ways. Now the Bible, and it also continues to say, if you desire the world, then you don't really desire God. Because God has a plan for your life. But you desire your own plan, your own worldly plan. So this is very true. If you really desire the world, which you want to get married, but God's desire for you is to remain single. And God said, you don't really love me. You not embrace my plan. Can you read it in this way?
Yeah.
Okay? For all that is in the world, which is the desire of the flesh. Do you agree that our flesh has desires?
Yes.
If you watch pornography, movie, we read unhealthy things, you will desire fleshly desires. It comes out. We look at certain food, we're not hungry also, we want to eat. See? Our flesh has desires. And why it says, for there is a desire of the flesh which can be stirred up, and there is desires of the eyes which can stir up. That's why Instagram is actually not a very good tool, even though certain ways it's good. But certain ways it's not good. You make us feel as if we are not living fulfilled lives. You make us feel as if, I need to go for holiday. You know young people want to go for holiday even though they're not working. They don't have money, they ask their parents for money for holiday. Why? Because friends are going for holiday. Right? Because the lust of the eyes, we have so many desires now. I want to do this, I want to do that. You know? And especially for women, if I go window shopping, I know I intention to buy shirt, right? And suddenly the eye see all the shopping, all the clothes are so nice, suddenly must buy her. Because desire can be from the eye gate, from the flesh gate, and the pride of life. The world also gives a sort of desire. We desire, why does people want to buy a certain brand car compared to another brand? Equally, two cars can go to the same place. Because of the pride of life. We want to feel the sense of achievement. We have arrived. Why do people choose a certain address to stay? Even though it might be the equally same house. Look the same. Now because of the brand, the pride of life. So God say, it is not of the Father. God don't want you to have this. God don't want you to be bound and live your life based on this type of desires. So God said, break free of this. It is of the world. But as long as we are of the world, we are always looking, we are always hearing, we will have these desires begin to be in us. And some of it will be fulfilled, some of it will not be fulfilled. So how do we handle it? What do we do? Right, let's go. So how shall we live then? Right, how shall we live? Let's go. So I want to tell to you about this interesting verse. Let's read together. 1 to go. Jesus says, I tell you the truth, of all who have ever lived, none is greater than John the Baptist. But he who is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than him. So who is Jesus recommending? Who is recommending that it seems that he has lived a good life? John the Baptist. It seems that Jesus is recommending John the Baptist. Jesus says, hey, John the Baptist has lived successfully in his life. He's a successful model, he's a successful principle to follow, example. Then he said, the least in the kingdom of God is greater than him. Who is in the kingdom of God right now? The kingdom of God, people are people who loves God, accepted Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior. So who? How many we have here? Nobody. Okay? Now all of you are called the least in the kingdom of God, but you are greater than this man. What does it mean? Now, what Jesus is meant here is John the Baptist lived at a time before Jesus came to give salvation. Jesus had not died yet on the cross. So John the Baptist did not really understood the salvation grace, and he didn't have the Holy Spirit. So he lived at a time before Jesus' death. So he's living at an Old Testament time, the time of the law. But even in the time of the law, even without the help of Jesus, was he able to live successfully? Yes! I want to see this. He is able to live successfully even before salvation, before the Holy Spirit given. That's why Jesus said, but he who is the least in the kingdom of God, means everyone who has believed, they can be greater than him. Is it not true? If John the Baptist can live successfully, is a role model, what more we here today?
Yes.
Can we be more successful than John the Baptist?
Yes.
Can we even live in a better way?
Yes.
Right, that is what I need to say. So today, my message of how to live successfully a fulfilled life will come from the example of John the Baptist. We will take his life as an example and learn from his life how to live this life. Alright? Okay? Let's go. The first one, I want to put it to you that John lived a life which is dedicated to God. Dedicated to God. Now, why do I say this? Right? First of all, when the people came and asked John, John, who are you? John said, I am. He owns it. He owns his destiny. He said, I am the voice of one calling in the wilderness. Means he said, I live in the wilderness, but I am an instrument of God. I use my voice to do what? To make straight the way for the Lord. I prepare the people for God. Okay? So he identified with the plan of God that God has for him. I am. Okay. John the Baptist lived with a special grace. God asked him from birth. Who knows the story of John the Baptist? Don't know. Some of you new people. Okay, John the Baptist. Okay, is it from where you are? Okay, maybe never mind. I can explain to you. When John the Baptist was born to two parents, one is Elizabeth, and the father is the priest Zechariah. They didn't have children, so God told Zechariah, "You're going to have a son, and he will be John the Baptist. But this child is very special, so he will give him a special diet. He cannot drink wine, and then he cannot do certain things. He's supposed to be consecrated to God. So in that sense, he's set apart for God to do this work, right? But in the Bible, there is also another person who also set apart in this way. Set apart in this way is called to live under the Nazarite law, to live in the way consecrated to God. Another person in the Bible that lived in this way and had this type of call, do you know his name? Start letter S in the Old Testament. Samson. True or not? Right. So, John the Baptist had a Nazarite call. He lived a set apart life from birth. Samson also, right? Also had a set apart life, trained to be a Nazarite from birth. But I ask you a question. Did Samson dedicate his life to God? No, Samson didn't. Even though he lived with all these laws, the moment he stepped out and was a grown-up, he began to live out of those laws. He began to live out of those destiny. So he never lived a dedicated life to God despite his calling. So when I say a life dedicated to God, it's not about what God has put into your life, what calling God has put into your life. What are the things that God has put for you from birth? It's your decision whether you want to dedicate your life to God.
Yes.
So John the Baptist is successful because he dedicated his life to God. He said, I will be that voice. He owned that calling. I will be that voice. I'm the voice of the wilderness to make straight the way for the Lord. So same thing as this room. The Bible says we all have different calling, we all have different gifting. Some are even called to be prophets, some are even called to be pastors. It doesn't matter your calling. Some are called and no gifting of the fivefold. Maybe just a gifting of hospitality. But the more important thing God is looking is whether you really want to dedicate your life to Him.
Yes.
That's why you see how come some pastors fall. How come they are so anointed they fall? Because it's not the gifting, it's the dedication. When you learn to dedicate your life, then you're on the first step to living a fulfilled life. Okay? Can you accept that? Right? Next. So, how to dedicate yourself to God? How to say, I want to dedicate myself? One of the ways is this scripture. This scripture will help you learn about dedication. Let's read. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Actually, a lot of people stumble on this word. They don't understand this word. And they always think that when I love God love God, worship God, I pray, and then God will give me what I actually desire. My desire is for the scholarship, my desire is to marry that person, my desire is for this. So they think it's like that, right? Okay, I want a job. So I go to church, I pray, I pay my tithes, I love God, and then I think in my heart God will give me the desires of my heart. That is a wrong way of reading the scripture. I'll teach you the right way. The right way is God says, when your desire, the delight is your desire. When your desire is desire God. Means when your desire is for God, do you have that desire for that one already? No. Means that one is, you shouldn't desire it. It's just like, you put it KIV. But it should not be your desire. It should not be your plan. God, it doesn't matter. You must tell God, God, it doesn't matter whether I get a job. God, it doesn't matter whether I marry that man. Right now, at this moment, as a dedicated person, my whole desire is for you. And even in that place of that desire for God, suddenly you realize God said, I don't want you to have a job. I don't want you to go to college. I want to resign from your job and serve God and give all your money to the church. I mean, how to hear about it all. Well, anyway, when your whole desire is of God, that is what I'm trying to say. So it says when you begin to desire yourself fully to God, God will give you new desires. This desire is not your own desires. You see, listen up. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. You'll find that new desires will come forth in your heart. For example, Brother Kenneth, I believe when you delight yourself in the Lord, that's why God gives you a desire to start this church. True or not? It comes out of a desire. But it's a desire that is created and put in by God. And it not always be something spiritual. But just take an example. It could be sometimes you delight in God, and suddenly God say, hey, suddenly now you feel that I don't want to do a accounting course. I want to follow just a communication course. You just feel your heart, you have a different desire, you want to shift your course, do something else. That's what I meant. So when we come to God, we should put all our desires neutral gear. We shouldn't be pursuing any desire, we should just pursuing God. And what I mean by pursuing God, dedicated God, is we learn to hear His voice. We learn to love worship. We learn to love to read the Word. That is a dedicated life. And then when we do all this, you find that new desires will come inside you. I want to do this. I want to do that. Actually, before I became a pastor, am I taking too long? Do you have time? I'm a timer. I only come once a year new. Okay. I was actually a music teacher. Alright? And I had a first diploma, which is called ATCL, Associate Teaching Degree. Associate. And I have a desire, I like teaching music, I really like. And I had a desire to actually pursue my second teaching diploma, which is a licenseship, LCTL. I was pursuing halfway. When as I was pursuing halfway, There's also inside my heart, I want to delight God. I want to dedicate myself to God. So I dedicated myself to God. I began to read more the Bible. I go for Bible seminar. I just go for all these things because I want to pursue God. I want to dedicate my life to God. As I began to do all this, suddenly, I find that my desire to finish my course no more there. You know what I'm trying to say? God shifted my desire. Suddenly, I don't have desire to finish the course. And my friends are looking at me saying, you're so stupid. Only a few more months to your exam. Why don't you finish it? I say, I don't have desire to finish it. Because that time I'm supposed to practice and finish my degree, I want to go for this Bible course. The time clash, I have to choose whether to go for the Bible course or go and finish my diploma. And God shifted my desires. Not that I don't have desire, I still have desires. But God shifted my desires, and I relinquished that desire which I had for years, paying money to pursue it. I just went into a new desire, and now God take my life to a different life. And I had to come to a point in my life last time to really quit my music and just become a full-time housewife with no income. Because God likes to shift us. God likes to see how is our dedication to Him. So it's not always I delight myself in God and yet still holding on to those desires. It's letting go very loosely, but hearing from God. Keep hearing. That's why I say the best gift that you can have is to pursue, to learn to listen to God. So the Bible says, you want to learn to do? Prophesy. Learn to prophesy. You know why you learn to prophesy? Prophesy is you to listen first month before you can prophesy. That's why you must learn to hear from God first. That's the most important gift. Next. Hey, another thing that John did was, he was very different. True or not? He was very different. He lived in the wilderness. He wore differently. He acted differently. He lived differently. He was not afraid to be different. And he was so different, I will tell later, that he dared to go and confront the King Herod. King Herod was actually at the time the ruler. King Herod was sleeping with his sister-in-law. So he dared to go and confront, and he was very different. So I want to tell you that, okay, this is the verse. Let's read together. Will be great in the sight of the Lord. This is his birth. He will never take wine or other fermented drink. That is the Nazarite law. He will be filled with the Holy Spirit even before he is born. He will go on before the Lord. He will always be pursuing God. In the Spirit and power of Elijah, to turn the hearts of the parents to the children. He will have this anointing that to ask them to repent. And the disobedient the wisdom of the righteous, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord. So he lived a very different life. I want to ask us here, are we called to be different now as Christians? God say you are the light, not the dark. Yeah. Anybody who don't know God is actually in the dark. We are to be in the light. We must think differently. We are the salt and the light. Yes. So we must embrace it. When we begin to live a life that is different, I tell you as a Christian, you will feel the fulfillment. You will feel it. And one of the ways to live a different life is, young people, you must remain pure before marriage. Yes, you must remain pure. I went to Hong Kong to do what? You really got time or not? I went to Hong Kong to do what? To witness a wedding. And I'm so glad to be there. You know why? My church member, which is the girl, she went there to do her PhD, to do a research scientist PhD, right? So she was there. And she met a boy there in Hong Kong. And the boy is younger than her 2 years, right? But the wonderful thing is, before they started the relationship, that boy, when he met her, she was about 24, he was 22. That boy, before he do anything, before he pursue her, he talked to the pastor. Pastor, I have this thing, I like the girl. How do you think? Can you pray for me? The pastor said, yeah. And after that, he go and talk to the girl, very, very like a gentleman, and then he asked to see the parents. And he fly all the way from Hong Kong to see the parents. He never do all the hanky-panky thing. He really do the most honorable way, the best way. And he only got married, he was 24, 26 only he got married. Some men don't get married at 26, right? Yeah. Too young, ma. But what are you doing if you love the girl, you honor the girl, you marry her? Yes. So I don't believe in long courtship, you know? Yes. There's no personal agenda, I went to think so I get all my career. Amen, amen. You know, there's no, if you are a righteous man, you're a Christian walking differently, you will plan differently. Yes. If you are together, and then I tell tell me, no, but mommy, my daughter not very sure that still college, but she asked her, but mommy, what if both of us not enough money? I say last time me and my daddy, husband, we married when he's on a motorbike. We married when we rent a room, right or not?
Yes.
There's no such thing as I will save enough money, get enough car, get enough housing to get married. There's no, that's the standards of the world.
Yes.
And then when I went to that wedding, you know, the bridesmaid, the friends, and this man, they all said, you know, they said, this is a man that is very conscientious. They use the word conscientious. You know what's conscientious? Conscientious means a person who do things properly. Can you imagine now that his friend go and brag about his friend and say, this is a man that do things very conscientiously. It's the first time I hear like that, no? I say, wow, what a recommendation of character. Conscientious. All the young people here, learn to be conscientious. Every detail of your life, learn to plan it properly. According to God's ways.
Amen.
You can see that you're on the right track.
Yeah.
Not chin one never mind. I feel like holding your hand. I hold your hand. I feel like supposed to talk because I feel like it. What feel like it? No plan one sorry. I talk like I'm not in church already.
No worry.
Okay, next one.
No worry.
Next one. So Paul put like that. Paul said, live for Christ, not for self.
Yes.
When you live differently, you mean you live for Christ, not for self. That's why the Bible says, let's read, my old self has been crucified with Christ, which is my old desires, right? It's no longer I who live. It means my desires, it doesn't motivate me, not my desires. But Christ lives in me. My desires are now from Christ. My desires to be conscientious, to do the right things from Christ. So I live in this earthly body by trusting in the Son of God. Trusting means what? Even though the plan God has for you is not your plan. I don't want to be single, Lord. I hate it. Okay, I trust you. That's what it means, trusting in God. Even though it's not what you want. Who loves me? You believe God. This way of living, you love me lah, and gave yourself for me. Do you know that John the Baptist in the end, did he live a full life? No. He got his head chopped off. He lived so differently. He got to confront the king. The king got so fed up of him, put him in prison, and after that, chop off his head. So living the fulfilled life doesn't mean you die in a glorious way. That is living a fulfilled life. But he lived a fulfilled life so much that Jesus recommended him as the highest recommendation. Right or not? Of all the people in the world, he didn't recommend Moses. Moses recommended John the Baptist. God is saying chop off. But dare to be different. How many of us dare to be different? Thanks. Okay, this one. Okay, so how do we be different? We are just human. We be different by God's grace. Can we say be different by God's grace?
Be different by God's grace.
It's different by God's grace. Alright, let's read. Each time, like Paul was facing something, he don't want to do it. He said, very hard, God, I cannot do it, I cannot live your way, I cannot follow your way, very hard, you know. Then God says, Paul says, each time I hear this voice, God will tell him, hey son, my grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. Then Paul says, so now I'm glad to boast about my weakness. Means I don't see my weakness, I don't see I cannot do. I just say, God, your power can work through me. That's what this verse interpreted. And when I read this verse, a picture came to me, a picture not in my head, understanding of this kind of thing, came to me of this kind of art. I don't know whether you have been to Japan, you have seen this, but I've not been to Japan, so I don't know. According to the Japan type of history, when they have something that's broken, a pottery, let's say it's broken, smashed, they won't throw it away, they will repair it. And when they repair it, they will repair it with gold.
Oh.
You see, Katsushi is a Japanese art form which bricks and repairs are treated with parts of objects' history. Broken ceramics are carefully mended with lacquer resins with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. So the repairs are very visible, very obvious, but it's beautiful. So we live broken lives because we come from broken places. Some of us may have gone through divorce, some of us may have gone through pain, but that doesn't mean that you'll be qualified to live that different life. I just recently met a pastor. So funny, I just met this pastor. I'm so blessed by her. She's divorced. Because of circumstances. Because there are circumstances we can allow for divorce. Because the husband is not a healthy husband to be together. I would say if the hand abuse you, you cannot eat again. You know what I'm trying to say? But she continued to serve God
Amen.
and be very accountable to it. She told us, we said, how come you're divorced? And she told us, I did this, I went for counseling, I did this, I did. She gave us all the history of how she tried to save her marriage, but yet cannot. She don't have to tell me all this, because I just met her. But she told me all this. So diligently tell her because she's like this vessel, moving on in life by the grace of God. Unique. So it's not your background. I said, I cannot live a different life. I don't have an education. I'm broken. I cannot shine for Jesus anymore. No, you can. You can live differently. Next. And this one, he accepts his portion in life. When we say accepts his portion in life,
Accept his portion in life.
this one is maybe quite hard to understand, but I try. So what happened is, when John came into the ministry, he was ahead of Jesus. He started ministry first. And John already had many followers with him. And then Jesus came on the scene. And when Jesus came on the scene, John said, hey, this is the man that you should follow. And lo and behold, most of the disciples went to follow Jesus. And how many disciples he got left? Not a lot, a few, a handful. In terms of human nature, if you start a business or you start a church now, very nice, this is your people, Brother Kenneth. Suddenly, opposite, God said another church start war. Another church come also from God one. And then they start, suddenly half your church all go there war. What you do, Yeah, they one from God one steal all my sheep away. True or not? That's human nature, right? But God says, whatever you have actually come from God.
Amen. Yes.
The sheep also come from God. So that is what John recognized. So this is what happened. So John's disciple came to him and said, Rabbi, the man you met on the other side of the Jordan River, the one you identified as the Messiah, is also baptizing people. He do the same thing as we do, sing the same song as we sing, do the same program, Christmas program we do. He also do Christmas program. Everybody is going to him. We all lose out already. We want to grow our church, but he also growing there, so nearby some more down the Jordan only. And John replied, no one can receive anything unless God gives it from heaven. Amen?
Amen.
Your church is going to receive what God has for you. Amen?
Amen.
Another church is going to receive what Jesus has done. Amen? So we don't fight. In the kingdom of God, we don't fight.
Yes. Correct.
That's what's happening in the kingdom of God. People are always fighting. They live the wrong principle. They think the sheep belong to them. The point is, that's why pastors are fighting with each other. They hate each other. They don't like to talk to each other. You know accepting the body of Christ is wrong. And John said, hey, no one can receive anything unless God give it to them and say, I'm filled with joy at his success. I'm filled with joy at his success. I must become greater, he must become greater and greater, I must become less and less. So
Amen.
whatever God give you, whether it's the place you stay, the people you have, the position you hold, the possession, your plan is all from God. You can be staying in a company for 10 years and never get promoted. The further who's not a non-believer, the minute they get promoted, boom, boom, boom. It's still God's plan. We accept. Amen? And we put on that joy. We put on that rejoicing.
Amen.
And that's how we live the fulfilled life. How many are bitter? Some of us turn away from God the minute God do things that we don't like. How can that be God? I gave my tithes, I pray. How can? My wife got cancer, how can? I mean, it's true, it's true. It's very real. We turn our ways from God and we scold God because we cannot accept our portion of life. We must accept our portion of life. We must embrace that as God's plan. That is not the prosperity teaching. Prosperity teaching always say God has the best, which is true. But then you look at the Bible, there is journey. Remember I talked about journey? There is seasons. So we don't turn away from God. We don't turn away from God when there's a tough season. We have to embrace our portion of life. Next. And that is what happened to John the Baptist. So he was in the prison. It was before he was beheaded. He confronted Herod. And that was before he was beheaded. And he talked to his disciples. Now, John the Baptist is still human. He's still affected. So he was affected, but what happened to him? Let's read. Next. So, let me paint a picture to you. Okay? Now John the Baptist is in prison. John the Baptist, in his own human mind, he still thinks that Jesus can help him. True or not? Jesus is the Messiah. A lot of them think that Jesus is a political leader, can help one. But he waited and waited. Jesus never come to his help. Nothing is being mentioned about John the Baptist. It's as if he has been abandoned, ignored. As John the Baptist, how would you feel? The first thing probably you feel, you say, hey, that one is not for real one. I'm so sorry that Jesus is rotten. He's not to be trusted. Right? But what did John the Baptist do? Let's read. The disciples of John reported all these things to him, means reported to him what Jesus had been doing outside. Not the things that John wanted to help get saved. It was reported the things like he healed the sick, he healed the blind. And John, calling two of the disciples to him, sent them to the Lord saying, so Jesus said, okay. Come. I want to send you two who go and see Jesus. And when you see Jesus, you ask him this, are you the one who is to come? Means, are you the real Messiah? Or shall we look for another? It's a time when John began to doubt. Do you not agree when you're in your trials, you doubt? When you face your cancer, you doubt? When you face a marital problem, you doubt? Do you not agree? You will doubt, right? And John the Baptist said, I doubt. I'm not sure. And then, when they went and told Jesus, Jesus answered them. He answered them is Jesus, and Jesus answered them, go and tell John what you have seen. Here, the blind receive the sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised up, the poor have good news preached to them. And blessed is the one who is not offended by me. Because God says, go and tell John this. I'm doing all that I'm asked to do when God sent me. Please don't be offended by my plans. Because even if I don't come and save you, even if I don't want to do like you want, you must not be offended by me. Even you think that God will save your business, but God doesn't save your business. After you pray, you lost the whole business. God says, don't be offended by me. But why do I say, even in this moment, John shined? Even in this time of testing, he shined. Because I see that even when he didn't understand, even when God put him in a very difficult place, he still went and asked God, are you the one who is to come, or shall we look for another? He still talked to God. There's still a conversation. Do you understand? It's okay when you're not sure what's happening to your life. You keep talking to God. You don't turn God off. A lot of people don't talk to God. We leave the church. We leave our pastor. We leave the home fellowship. We leave. We became a non-believer. We don't talk anymore to God. But it's not how John handled it. He was in a crisis. He didn't know what's happening to his life, but he still talked to God. He still pursued God. He still wanted to know. That is how we should do what. Most of us, we question ourselves. After being so many years in the ministry, we don't need many things we did. We are very sad. Things that happened. So we still talk to God. We still ask Him. But we don't turn and offended. We are not bitter. Amen?
Amen.
So that's how we live a dynamic relationship with God. I want to ask you, do you have a dynamic relationship with God? Not just intimate, no. Dynamic means you can dialogue, you can scold. In your room, to scold here. Suddenly your friend, you scold God, no. At home. And you can talk to God freely when you cry in front of God. Have a dynamic relationship with God. And let God speak to you. There was this young girl, she was pursuing her exam. And all her friends passed and she failed. And she was very upset. She came and asked me, how come I failed? I'm a Christian. I said, I don't know. But interestingly, she went to her room and she cried and talked to God. And the next day she showed me her notebook because I teach them journaling. Show her notebook. She said, God has talked to me. I don't understand why I failed because it's very crucial, a professional paper, she failed. We actually the receipt. But God talked to me. And to me, it's a success. It's not so important that she passed the exam. More importantly, is in her failure, she saved people. Understand or not?
Yes.
And now she passed with me. After the trial, she passed with me. Amen? Okay, thanks. And so I want to close here and tell you this day that God says, blessed are you who thirst and hunger for righteousness. If your desire, if that thirst inside you is to do the right thing according to God, you shall be satisfied. Amen? So do you not believe that you will be satisfied? Do you not believe Christians can live a fulfilled life? Believe or not?
Yes.
Believe. Because this one says so. If you pursue God, you love God, you are going to live with unfulfilled desires. But yet, you can still be very satisfied. There is a desire in our heart for our church to grow bigger and bigger. But until now, we're still waiting, Pastor Joshua. These are unfulfilled desires. You know what I'm saying? We wanted our church to grow in a certain way, in a certain manner. But until now, many years we're still not being fulfilled. But does it mean that we don't have a fulfillment in life? No. We can still have that satisfaction. We can still sleep in peace. We still have that rejoice. And that's why God says, happy, let's do together.
Happy are those whose
greatest
greatest
desire
desire
is to do what God requires. God will satisfy them fully.
Amen.
Can we stand up?
Amen.
Hallelujah.